Yo, it's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about why she'll feel a very uncontrollable urge and desire for you when you go on NoFap and you mix that in with potent eye contact. Why eye contact plus NoFap pretty much is the key to get woman attraction. Like, a lot of guys keep trying to think that more is less, or more. The more you do, the better chance you'll have with attracting her. And to be honest, that really isn't the case. It really isn't the case. It gets to the point where it pretty much conveys of actually it's the opposite. The less you do, the more likely that you might get what you want. This pretty much is because a lot of guys who are not really who haven't really put in overtime hours of like working on themselves, they feel like they need to do a lot of things to try to get her because they don't feel whole enough already. And that is a big problem. That is why there's limitations. That's an example of how anybody can be limited in life. Because if they never feel complete, they always think they have to do this. They always think they have to do this. They always think they have to do this to try to be completed. They need this. They need that. And that pretty much isn't the case. The less is more at times. You have to get to a point where you're really just okay with yourself regardless whether she likes you or not, and you're kind of already complete. You're an already complete human being, and you don't need her validation. You don't need anything really from her. What you really needed, all she is just an addition to an already abundant life. That's pretty much what it is. Like I said before, the happier you feel about yourself, the easier it is to attract anybody that you want. The happier you are, the more you focus on yourself, and you're just happy with yourself. You're working on yourself. You're doing something that you always said you would do. You're vibrating on a different type of urgency. You're purposeful with your life. You're not miserable per se. You're doing something that you're actually passionate about, and that is conveying through your body language and emotions. If you can't stop thinking about it, then you should be doing it. But a lot of guys don't really have that much things that they're passionate about because they really haven't found out about themselves. You have to start figuring out like who you really are. You have to try new things. You can't take some old facade way of doing things and then make it the truth. You have to question everything. Everything must be questioned. You have to find out for yourself. You cannot take other people's word for anything because other people aren't willing to do the things that you're willing to do. They're not willing to do things that they like to play comfort. Comfort is the exact recipe for a mediocre life. If you're not uncomfortable, you'll never be free because there's always something that you're afraid of. You gotta be fearless. Being fearless is literally the way. Being fearless and independent from anything and anybody is literally the key to freedom. If you're not scared of anything and if you don't depend on anybody for anything, then you're pretty much a free man. And I mean in everything. You're financially independent. You're emotionally independent. You're not dependent on someone else to give you emotions. All of these good emotions are already bottled up in you, and you're just waiting to share them with other people. But 95% of the population is missing the point. They're missing the point. And like I said, the more good emotions that you can bottle up inside of you, aka as retaining your nut and working out and being purposeful and doing things that you're passionate about, the more you have to give it out. You have to give it out. There's no way that it can just be stayed inside you. You have to share your gifts with people. And like I said, the more you can share your gifts with other people, the more valuable you'll be deemed in the marketplace. And the more valuable you are, the better results you'll get. The better results you'll get very, very good results. So I mean, tactics, punchlines, cold approaches, all this yada 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 stuff. It's just like you have to bring her into your life. There has to be a point where you're very comfortable with yourself, and you're not afraid to, let's say, convey your wants and desires to her in a very masculine way, and then the right woman will receive it. It's all about who can receive the kind of energy that you're giving out. The more they can receive it, the more you guys will fit together. I mean, but a lot of women like to they don't like to submit at first hand. They feel like they always have to put up a fight. I mean, that's okay too. You just have to keep the masculine frame, because a lot of girls will test you no matter who you are. Even if you're LeBron James, even if you're Chris Brown, even if you're somebody who made a name for himself, they will still try to test you. And this is just the way it is. So I mean, the best way to get over this is just to be prepared. Prepare yourself every day for great things to happen. Yeah, so convey the good emotions, reciprocate. There's this thing called the law of reciprocity or something. Reciprocate. You reciprocate. There isn't, like, if the more you give out, like I said, the more will get back to you. The more you give out to her, she might have to give back to you. You have to get to a point where she can submit to you. She has to respect you. If she never respects you, she will never submit to you. You guys will keep asking, how do I do this? How do I get her to act like this? It's just like, bro, you're way too logical. Like, you have to ease up, tense up a little bit, and and limit the conversation over text to a set date and time. And then once you have her in person, that's when you can really show her who you're about. And the best way to do this, where she can feel who you are, is to actually sort of just be be yourself in a way, but be your very authentic self. Express yourself to the fullest. But the thing is, like, in order to express yourself to the fullest, where you may seem like captivating and interesting to her alike, you just have to have an actual interesting life. You have to have some sort of thing that you're excited about. You can't be miserable and then try to reciprocate that energy to her and think she'll receive it in a good way. You have to be happy with yourself. You have to be doing something that you're passionate about. You can start out at the buffet of life. You find something that you may like, and then you just keep doing it until you're really good at it, and then sooner or later you'd start telling other people how you did it, and that's pretty much it. And then once you're talking about something that you're really fond of, then it's really hard to fake things, because everything you're saying is very genuine. And then the certain type of woman that is right for you will pick up on that energy, and then that's how you'll attract each other. But the starting point is to just be very happy with yourself and be very fulfilled, and not need her, and just, like I said, level up and apply knowledge that you pick up. So I mean, and yeah, like I said, when you're in the point where you're talking to her and you're on no fap, that energy, if you look at her in the right eye a certain way, and you're very, let's say, charismatic with the words that you say, and you're just a very charismatic, funny, authentic guy, she will pick up on that, and she will deem you attractive in her eyes, because women and men find attractiveness in two completely different ways. So I mean, just make sure you're becoming a man of value, and you're stroking some emotional buttons in her. You can't just be a very logical person. You gotta spice it up a little bit and see how she'll reciprocate on your energy that you consistently give out. That's all it is. It's all about it's all about giving out good emotions. Once you give out good emotions, she's gonna reciprocate on it, and she'll find you more attractive than the next person who's always trying to do other things, trying to get her this, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to buy her this, trying to do this, just because they're not really complete enough to just be okay with themselves and present themselves as they would normally do it. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe below. If any of that made sense, comment below. If it didn't, then have a question. But yeah, that eye contact will help you get to where you really want to be with her. So peace out. We'll see you next time.